My name's not Brad, and I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a hired actor because they couldn't get anybody else to fill the spot tonight. Just kidding. Anyway, last time I was in front of a mic, I was drunk on my ass playing harmonica in front of a band, so that's a little intimidating. But anyway, I'm really glad to be in this program. I mean, I've followed my brother all my life and everything. I never, he played football. I was 1 year behind him in school, so I played football from Pee-wees all the way through high school. And this would be the last place I ever thought I'd follow him to. Never. And I did get a DUI back in 2008, and I was ordered to AA meetings as part of I did the deferred program. And I did that, and of course I get to them, and shit, I'm not like these guys. And I just go through. In fact, I had my girlfriend at the time signing slips for me because I was running my company, my painting company, and they put me at three-hour meetings, or what do they call an intensive outpatient back then, and then trying to do 5 meetings a week, and I just ran out of time. But I didn't take it that serious because shit, I'm not going to quit drinking, whatever. And as I got older and everything, and my brother can attest to this, that I took all the alcohol out of my house, didn't have it in there, just for basically an insurance policy, and so then I at a time when I broke up with a gal in 2008, I kind of went crazy. Was going to bars, casinos, all that stuff, and getting wasted and stuff. And at the time, I thought I was having a fantastic time. Half the time I did. Who else can get kicked out of the Toyota casino 5 times in a row? Well, I used to bet $500 a hand with blackjack. Nothing really mattered to me at that time. But in my mind, I was having a great time. So anyway, in life, I was with I remember, it's funny, you remember certain things in your life. Your guys probably remember their first car or their first, with a gal, that guy. One guy remembers over there. But I remember the first time even my brother and I's dad was a Seattle fireman, and my mom was a stay-at-home wife, and we grew up in Ballard. And just like you see on TV, they were like that. Firemen clicked together. They all hung together. And they used to have parties in our basement. And we'd go as kids. And the next morning we'd get up and all the glasses were there. And then my dad was really organized. He put their name with a piece of tape on the glass. And later on, we'd always joke about them. Later on when I had parties, God, now I know what he did. And I'd walk around looking for my glass. I'd have 19 drinks running around the party just so I'd make sure that what it is. But having my first drink, I remember we didn't even have those drinks. They were sitting there with booze, whatever. We didn't even do it till the neighbor across the street. He used to be the cool guy who used to have a brand new Thunderbird or something in his driveway, and he had parties. And so I remember, I think I was like 15 years old or something, maybe 14, I don't remember. But kids were out there playing out in the street, and he came over hey, you guys, get some milk jugs. He said, I've got a keg. I got to get rid of the beer. And we all look at each other. Okay, let's do this. So go over there and fill up our jugs. Hated the taste of it and still do with beer and stuff. And we're all swinging off them and this and that and the other. And I remember it hit me like a deal where all of a sudden I'm laying under the car in the street looking at this guy, and he's coming across the street laughing his ass off. And I remember it was like this devil coming at me. And it's funny, I just still remember that first time I actually got drunk on alcohol. And I wish I would have quit then, come to think of it. But anyway, so, but growing up, alcohol was just part of the deal. And I didn't like the taste of it or anything, but playing football, that was the deal to do. After the big game at the night down, we used to play at Memorial Stadium down here. And then we'd all go up and we'd find the keg. During non-football season, we'd still keggers every weekend. That was part of the deal. And the reason wasn't we didn't like the taste, it was to get wasted. So that whole thing kind of led on to drinking. And so then, I never really got into drugs or anything. Smoked a lot of Mexican weed and stuff. That was kind of it. And when really good weed, I tried to do it, but I got so paranoid and I just stopped that. But what was I going to say? So then drinking was just part of the deal. And one thing, and people don't believe me when I say this, I ran this painting business for 49 years. I never once drank during the week, only on weekends. But again, I made up for it on the weekends. And I would drink on the week if we went on vacation. Then I was, I didn't have the responsibility of running the business. So, but I was with a gal that the first one I was with, dated for about 3 or 4 years, and I had enough money and sent her off to Norway to visit her relatives and stuff. And she called me and said, call me on the phone. And I'd worked 90. I only had one employee at that time, so I worked 90 days in a row straight during the summer, because that's in Seattle area, but that's when you make money. And you got that timer yet? I'm messing with. But she called me and says, "Give me a reason to come home." I go like, "What the heck?" She wanted to get married. And I'll be honest, at that 90 days, I thought she was cheating on me and stuff, and I'd never cheat on a woman. But during that time she left, we were just in a bad spot. So I'd work, one employee would work 12 hours a day. And I was the original lounge lizard, I think. I'd go out and drink every night, come back, do it again. 90 days in a row that I was just worn out. That's when she called me and said, "Give me a reason to come home." And I said, yes. So she asked me to get married. Well, she was a drinker too, and she was not a big gal or anything, but she was feisty and stuff like that. So we ended up getting married, and it was such a sad deal. I think that's why I've been married since that back then, because it did something to me. But on the wedding night, we had a reception, and all of a sudden she tried to cool the drinking, because she'd get really mean when she drank and want to fight and stuff. So she ended up started drinking some champagne and stuff, and I looked over, and I realized you can't control people. They're going to do what they want to do, and you can. So I kind of, this red flag went up my mind, like, oh my God, hopefully something doesn't happen. Well, about an hour later, I see all this commotion in the corner of this house. This is the gal I just married that night, beating my mom up in the corner. My mom was just, you see the shock. And she was actually over her, had her in the corner just wailing on her. And I walked over and I looked, oh my God. So I just stuck it out with her, and I just did something to me. 9 months later, I said, "Get out of here." And then I decided in my mind, I actually went downstairs after I saw that and started crying my eyes out where they stored all the chairs, and kind of went down there just freaking out, didn't know what to do. And then, so I split with her, and then, I played in the field for a while, and then I ended up with another gal, and she was a drinker, but, and then I had a child with her, which I lived with me still, and then 10 years later, then I played the field. Then I was with a gal for 20 years here, and she drank every night. And again, I was not during the week, I was not drinking. And it got to the point where I'd be driving home from work, and I had 2 or 3 guys at that time, and thinking, "Please don't be drunk, please don't be drunk." And I don't know if you, and of course, every night, and she was slurring and this, and I never realized how irritating that is until now. I haven't been drinking, and I get around a drunk person, I'm going like, well, now I know how, now I know how people feel and stuff like that. So anyway, so again, the drinking thing, I wasn't drinking or needed. I ran a successful business, and got a couple. And when I say this, I'm not bragging. I'm just hear what goes on in these meetings, and I feel very fortunate where I sit financially and mentally these days, because I've never been where where I'm going to end out on the street type of thing or something like that. Which I'm not saying one's better, one's worse, but now that I slowly stopped drinking, and the only place I drink is down at my sister's house. I wouldn't even go to bars. And this in the last probably 6, 7 years. I never went to bars or anything like that. And later on. And shit, I knew I was going to lose my train of thought. But anyway, I didn't drink that and all again, not during the week. But, and I wouldn't go to bars. But like I said, it was like this in my mind. I had this drunkometer. Well, I'm down here, so I'm not that bad, I'd only drink during the weekends and everything. And then, and so I didn't feel I was in that category of being a raging drunk, which a lot of times I couldn't remember what the hell I did the next day. But that didn't count. Drunkometer's still down here, And so, so I kept telling my brother, I go, the reason I was drinking all these years because it was fun. And it was just a good time to drink. And I'm jumping up on stage with these bands and playing harmonica and just gambling $500 a hand at the casino, whatever. Oh, dating 2-3 waitresses from the casino at the time. And I'm going, God, this is just fun. Well, I slowly started fizzling away. And then probably in the last 5 or 6 years, I was telling my brother, I said, because I only drink down to my sisters, I go, I don't even want to drink anymore. Because I said, the reason I drank was fun. I said, it's not that fun anymore. I just get more, and I was never a crabby, want to fight kind of, more the jolly, happy guy. And then I'd go, I was telling him, I said, God, it's more habit or anything, because I drink and all I get is freaking tired now and stuff, And then, but the sad thing was, I'd still feel, as I got older, at least 5 days of not being normal the next week. And I still had to get up to go to work, and my guys were, I could kind of function. I felt like I was functioning, but, looking back and, Brad, it's only been 63 days, so what are you looking back? Anyway, but now I look at it and I said, and I heard the gentleman, that Scott guy at the meeting today, say it, and I was gonna say, people think I'm bullshit when I say this, but I said, I got a DUI 64 days ago during the day, coming from my sister's house. I finished painting some rooms, and she was pouring me some drinks. Thought I was fine, and ended up with a DUI. And I said to these guys, and I'm saying to you guys, I said, I'm freaking glad I got that DUI, because I wasn't drinking hardly at all, but the drunk meter was way down here, so I didn't feel that bad or anything. And so finally, when I got this DUI, and I think I said at one of the meetings, and when this kid said it today, I went, oh God, thank you. I think I'm just lying and just making the excuse that I'm glad I got. But that was the final little tick that took me over the top of just saying, fuck it, I'm done. And that's what it took. And I'm in this position now where I don't have any cravings, and I'm not going to see. I was joking about the pink cloud thing, and then Michael here gave me a pink cloud chip. I don't even know they made them. But, and I'm not going to say I never will drink, because I know the routine on this shit, but I feel very strong inside to not pick up another drink, and especially going to the meetings and meeting all the people that I have and talking with them and stuff like that. It makes me feel stronger. Yeah. So. I got a minute and 30 seconds. Quit rushing. I'm good, guys.
Thanks, Brad.
No, thanks.